Yo, what is up guys? Dienamiix back here with another video. Today's video is going to be a speed art of me making my YouTube grunge header. I know a lot of people in the comments have been asking me how I made my header, and there's honestly not enough tutorials on grunge headers today on YouTube. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and make the speed art, and over it I'm going to go ahead and just tell you what's my thoughts and how I'm doing everything as I'm going. Quickly, I want to give a shout out to Caesars on YouTube. He left this idea for me and I appreciate you. Shout out to you, yo. If anybody has any questions on how I made something, or if they're just curious about anything, please leave them down below and I'll get back to you guys. I'm gonna try to answer to everybody. Really hard to answering to everybody since there's so many comments, but at the same time I'm gonna try my best. But if you guys do like this video, make sure to, hit me a subscribe. Like, I mean, it's free. And also make sure to hit that like button and turn on them post notifications. Okay. Also guys, if you guys want to stay in the loop, make sure to go over to my Twitter. I post all my brand new designs on there, and I also post free headers on there. Like, you want a free header, you better go on my Twitter. But yeah guys, that's pretty much it. I will talk to you later in the video. Let's go. Alright guys, so the first thing that we are doing in this header is I'm going to go ahead and make the YouTube template. Pretty much it's just a 2560 by 1440. In order to find this image, all you got to do is type in YouTube banner template. It'll come up with this image. It should be a 2560 by 1440, and pretty much as you see here, all I'm doing is hit Control R on my keyboard, and I'm going in there and taking these rulers and placing it where for the minimum height and the length of the YouTube banner. Once I get those rulers set, I pretty much go back and fill a black rectangle to make those edges be clean, and make sure that whatever we put underneath those black rectangles, it won't show on the actual header. Now what I'm doing is I'm pretty much taking the font that I found online. It's called a Hans and Bold font. Really good font. It's very clean, very minimal. It's one of the fonts that I use on a lot of my designs. It's a really clean font. I recommend go getting it. It is free for personal use. Commercial license, I'm not sure if it's available, but you can just check that out. What I do here is I take the font and I'm gonna go ahead and put my name. So pretty much once I go in here and put my name, I simply go and open up a GFX pack that I have. It's called Winter's Eye. I recommend this pack a lot. I think it costs a few dollars, but it's a really good pack. So pretty much what I'm doing here is I'm just finding a texture for the background, so the background doesn't just be a full black. I like this grunge and smoke effect that it has in this pack, and this is like one of my textures that I use for a majority of my headers. I even use this exact same texture for the clicks header that I made. I also lower the opacity a little bit because you don't want it to be way too oversaturated in the background. So right after I do that, I go ahead and place a stroke on a new separate duplicate layer of the text. So once I place that stroke, I obviously put the fill down to 0 and add a stroke on the layer style. And once I do that, that's pretty much done for this step. So for this clip right here guys, what I'm doing is I'm pretty much putting a quote, "Imagine a world full of joy." So what I do with this is I'm gonna go ahead and duplicate this like 6 or 7 times to give a really nice effect when I put a stroke layer style on it. And I'm also gonna merge all those layers together and apply a wave effect. What this is going to do, it's going to give a really unique feel. Instead of just having it straight, it's going to make it go, curvy up and down, and it gives a wavy feel to the header, and it makes it not so monotone, if that makes sense. So now what I'm doing is I'm just placing my logo inside the banner. It's pretty much optional, but I just put my logo in there just because I like my logo a lot. Now what I'm doing is I'm placing the X's onto the screen. This is a very unique effect that a lot of people use in their headers, like I've said in the past. Pretty much what I'm doing is I'm making them very small, and I'm giving the spacing inside of it to be about 2000 in each section of the space. So what I'm pretty much going to do here is I'm going to place this around the header and give it a really nice feel of the effect, just to kind of fill some of that negative space. And here I'm doing the same exact thing with the other arrows, but I'm just changing it from X's to arrows, so it's not the same thing repeated constantly. Now what I'm doing is I'm pretty much going back and doing the same type of effect that I did for the imagine a world full of joy, and I'm doing one that says live what you love. It's a pretty nice quote. I like the quote. I thought of it randomly on the top of my head, and I like the way that it fit inside this header. So I pretty much just copied the effect over from the imagine a world full of joy, and I'm doing the same thing here for the live what you love. So now what I'm doing is I'm pretty much going back into the header, and I'm just going to place a bunch of random shapes of just rectangles and squares, and I'm going to fill it with a solid color of blue. What this is going to do, it's going to make this header be so filled, and it's going to give it a lot of vibrance to the header, and it's also going to take up a lot of the negative space inside the header itself. Alright guys, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go over and do a Google search. Pretty much what this Google search is, we're going to be searching a grunge texture, and we're going to place this inside the background on a low opacity. So it's going to give the whole header a way better texture to the feel and get this full exposure of a grunge header we're wanting for the final product. So now we have one more Google search. What this Google search is going to be is it's going to be a grunge halftone. Once you search this, you're going to look for an image that looks just like this. And pretty much what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to paste this into each of the corners and make a lot of the negative space that I have, also that I have still in the corners and in the middle of the header. And overall, it just gives it a really nice feel. So the very last thing that we're going to search on Google is we're going to place a barcode. This is very, very optional. It's nothing, that has to be inside of a grunge header, but I like the feel of it and I like the aspect of the effect. I see it in a lot of headers today. They'll put barcodes and it makes it a very, very different, unique header. So pretty much I just put that in the corner. And I go back in here and just make one line of the live what you love and imagine a world full of joy, and I just make them blue just so it gives it a little bit of a vibrance feel instead of having it all white. It fits the tone very well, and I thought, hey, why not? It looks pretty good, and that's pretty much it. If you learned something in this video, make sure to give a like and subscribe. Like I said, guys, leave some comments down below on some of the tutorials that you'd like to see in the future. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I will talk to you guys soon. You guys have any questions, leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you guys. But that's pretty much it. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.